Hey, how's it going? It's Mark here with Marin Bikes. Interbike 2012, checking out 2013 product. Right here in front of this is the new 2013 Stelvio. This is the Ultegra Di2 model. Lots of updates on this bike for the 2013 season. Still uses our T3 tube-to-tube carbon construction, but lots of changes going on with that frame set for next year. Again, on the frame set for construction, the tube-to-tube construction is a little bit different than a lot of traditional carbon bike construction where they rely on a monocoque, like a one-piece design. With tube-to-tube, we individually form each tube of the frame. The benefit in the construction process is it allows us to basically mold each tube over a solid mandrel, where in a monocoque system usually you have to rely on like a bladder or a balloon system inside to basically pressurize and shape the inside of the tube. With the tube-to-tube construction forming over a solid mandrel, we really get to have a lot more control in the compaction rate between the carbon material and the resin itself. So the carbon matrix, we get to really optimize the compaction rate. End result is, really dialing in the strength to weight ratio, ending up with a much lighter frame for its given strength. So we're really happy with the way it's been working for us. We use this on our Stelvio road bike series, our CXR 29er series as well. So both mountain and road has used this technology for the last couple of years. For 2013, some small changes all throughout the frame set. First and foremost, on the front of the bike, still running a tapered steer tube, but we've gone to a new head tube and fork system. So now utilizing an hourglass design reduces the frontal area on the frame set, so a little more aerodynamic. Also switched to a new straight blade fork versus the arc fork that we've used in previous years. Straight blade fork has a nice positive feel for cornering, so it really makes a nice kind of planted front end, especially for crit riders who want a bike that handles quite well at speed. Really responds well to like mid-corner inputs when you're going through the corner with a pack with a rider on both sides of you. So nice update there. Full carbon construction for the fork with the steer tube as well. Going throughout the rest of the frame, seat tube design now features what we call our power taper technology. So larger diameter seat tube at the bottom bracket junction. Again, we want to have a really rigid interface for the drivetrain, so all the rider energy is going straight to the cranks, straight to the rear wheel for forward momentum. Going up, as the seat tube graduates towards the seat mast, we taper down to a 27.2 dimension for the seat post. And this is to add a little more compliance for the rider. So again, if you're doing long rides, really rough road races, we want to make sure we're trying to conserve as much energy for the rider as possible on the top end of the bike. To further that effort, we're also running our RVS, or Rapid Vibration Suppression seat stay system. Again, this is something we've done in past years. Features an arced, formed and arced stays on here for a degree of vertical compliance. That flows into a split wishbone seat stay mast. Nice benefit here is it allows us to have two independent structures to kind of combat any torsional flex. We want the wheel to have a nice amount of give vertically, but we don't want that rear wheel to kind of wag around when you're sprinting. So the split wishbone design really helps combat that. Again, this model is the Di2 version, so running a battery on here. For 2013, we'll be running Shimano's new Stealth battery mount system. So it'll have the battery mounted inside the seat post. So really nice, clean system. Keeps the battery out of the elements. Again, if you're a racer, doing some crits, and you end up in that inevitable pile up and riders are stepping through your bike. We want to make sure your battery's protected, no one's breaking it off with a cleat strike. So helps protect the system as well. Really simple to recharge with removal of the post. Battery's right there to plug in, good to go. Rest of the bike, we're looking at Cockpit featuring Ritchie WCS controls with a pretty flossy Pro logo saddle there, the Nago Evo tie rail version. Rolling stock, We're rolling on Easton EA90 Aero wheels on here, so really nice wheel spec. And the new Vittoria Diamante Pro, the Radiali tires, so nice supple ride quality there. On the Stelvio series, we do 3 different bikes. We do a Ultegra model at right around 3,500, the Di2 bike here coming in right around 49, and we'll have the new 11-speed Derailleur bike available, Reynolds full carbon clincher wheel set on there. That bike's just coming in a little over 6,000, about $6,300 there. So sizing available, it's 49 through 60 on there. Again, all 3 bikes featuring that T3 construction with the full carbon fork and carbon steer tube. Going over the 2013 Cortina, so cross bike for the 2013 season. Bringing in a little bit of mountain bike infusion on the cross bike scene here with this bike for next year. First and foremost, going a disc brake setup here, $19.99 retail price point here in the States. So setup on the bike. A lot of brands, moving over to cross with a disc brake setup, really helps with all-weather performance, and greatly induces the braking power itself in the system. So Cortina moves to a disc brake setup for next year. 135 rear spacing on a bike, again a little bit wider rear end on there, contributes to a much stiffer interface, much a little more dish to the wheel, so a stronger wheel set as well. We're tucking the caliper down inside the chainstay instead of the seat stay. Helps keep the brake caliper protected in the melee of cross racing when you're jumping barriers and getting kicked by your friends on a race course. Full aluminum chassis on here. It's a fully butted 6061 chassis on this bike. Up front, running a carbon fork on here. Again, disc brake setup. And where we get into a little more of the mountain bike love here is on the wheel set and the drivetrain itself. Rolling stock consists of WTB's I-19 wheel set with the TCS technology, or the tubeless compatible system. So that's a UST bead interlock interface on the rim itself. Bikes come out of the box with the tubeless rim strip installed. So if you're wanting to run this bike tubeless, just add your juice and your valve course and you're good to go. Really nice selling advantage, and performance advantage for riders. Allows you to run a little bit lower pressure in a lot of courses. Gets a little more traction there. A little bit wider rim profile as well, so mounted up here with Clement Crusade 33C tires, but again a little bit wider rim, so it gets that footprint just a little more dialed for courses. Drivetrain itself, pretty straightforward. Tried and true SRAM rival drivetrain on here, but a little twist is in the rear derailleur, where we're running SRAM's XO Type 2 rear derailleur on here, derived from the mountain bike side of things. Really significant performance advantage here with the XO speed clutch, or the Type 2 speed clutch system here, and keeping the chain tension very high on the drivetrain. Always a big issue for cross riders on bumpy terrain or guys using cross bikes for adventure riding. Traditional rear derailleurs on the roadside, don't have as much tension in the system. So on bumpy courses, a lot of racers are forced to run a single ring setup to prevent any kind of chain drops. With the Type 2 system, you have a much higher chain retention spring rate, so really stout chain pressure or derailleur pressure on the chain. So it makes it way more reliable for riders on bumpy courses to make sure that the chain is staying on that crankset. So nice feature there, allows you to retain that double crank up front, 2 chain rings, wider gear ratios available to you as well. So just a small change there in spec from, I think, the traditional drivetrain setup on cross bikes, but it will be really nice, really I think appreciated on the race courses out there. Finishing the kit, Ritchie Pro seat post stem system on here and Pro logo saddle. So really nice controls all the way around. Again, $19.99 on the price point. Available in sizes 49 through 60. And you can check out the rest of the geometry online at marinbikes.com.